Child marriage deprives girls of an education and may even put their lives at risk. But efforts are underway to change this practice. We traveled to Mozambique to see how a country with one of the highest rates of child marriage anywhere is fighting to ensure all young girls have a chance of a new future. Fishermen ply the dawn waters off Mozambique's coast. Their nets are full to bursting. Enthusiastic customers sort through the catch. In the 2 decades since Mozambique's civil war ended, the country has made an amazing recovery. But not all citizens are participating in the country's new opportunities. 15-year-old Ilse Gwambe is one of them.
I met that boy and I got pregnant.
Ilse, then just 13 years old, was unable to continue school, and her life was about to change dramatically.
After my baby was born, my parents sent me to live at my boyfriend's parents' place. I was insulted by his parents. I wasn't welcome at all.
In rural Mozambique, moving in with a boyfriend's parents constitutes a marriage. More than half the girls in the country are married before the age of 18, one of the highest rates of child marriage in the world. And these girls, like Ilse, are denied the opportunity to get an education and to take part in the country's development.
I would wake up, clean, wash dishes, prepare meals, and on other occasions go to the field, then cook dinner and sleep. They didn't help me with the baby. They would find him dirty and just look at him.
She also lost contact with her closest friends and lost all hope of returning to school.
When I was at school, I had 2 friends, and we used to do everything together. I'm upset because I'm so far behind them now.
Eventually, her family took her back home. She now spends her days helping her mother and caring for her baby. One day, she joins a group of other mothers outside a clinic where a play is being performed. It's about a subject close to her heart.
I was inspired to do this because many girls marry early.
Bernardo Carlos is a local school teacher. He formed the group with the support of the United Nations Population Fund, UNFPA, and Plan International, after losing girl students to pregnancy and child marriage. The play tells the story of 2 girls, one who dropped out of school to marry, and the other who completes her education with a college degree and then a successful job.
So people see the difference between investing in education and child marriage, and they see that the right way is education.
Changing mindsets and traditions around the pregnancies and marriages is a slow process, particularly amongst the older generation, many of whom are community leaders, which is why the performers target the elders. They're the main ones who can bring change to their communities. Salmina Kumbani is unusual. Not only is she one of the few female elders, but she's also seen firsthand the negative impact child marriage has on girls.
I think that if the child gets pregnant, she should stay in school, and if the boy loves her, he'll take care of her. Take her to the hospital, and then later, they'll get married happily and without having been forced into it.
By the end of the performance, Salmina is not the only one who believes it's time for change.
At the beginning of the play, many of the elders here thought that it was right to force a girl to get married. But as the play went on, I think many of them came to realize that kids shouldn't be forced to marry. They should continue their education and marry when they wish.
For Ilse, the messages on lost education are a poignant reminder of her own experiences. But she's one of the lucky ones. She lives near the clinic and was able to deliver her baby safely, despite her age. In more remote areas far from the nearest clinic, women and adolescent girls deliver at home. When there are complications, many of them develop a devastating injury called obstetric fistula, which occurs during prolonged labor when medical attention isn't available.
It happened while I was delivering my baby. Afterwards, I realized I couldn't control my bowels.
16-year-old Esita Mulanga was just 14 when she got pregnant. With her young husband away working in South Africa and the nearest clinic 2 hours away, she had no choice but to give birth alone. But things went seriously wrong and there was no medical care to help.
After the delivery, my baby was very weak and died. I called for help. I was very upset, and I realized that I couldn't walk.
Esita had developed a fistula, one of 2,000 new cases annually in Mozambique. And as with more than 90% of births where a fistula occurs, her baby was stillborn. Tragically, Mozambique has one of the highest incidences of infant mortality in the world. After various failed attempts at treatment, Esita came here to the district hospital in Muzarizi. Dr. Mekake Tembe has recently been trained in fistula repair as part of the UNFPA coordinated campaign to end fistula.
Fistula is a big problem in this area, and there are many factors that contribute to this. There is the tradition of mothers giving birth at home instead of at a clinic, and also the distance that women live from the clinics.
This life-shattering condition can affect any woman during prolonged childbirth, far from medical care. And in the first 3 months of 2013, Dr. Tembe had already treated almost 20 fistula patients, many of them like Esita, still in their teens.
These child marriages are a big problem because the girls are just not prepared for pregnancy. Not only are their bodies not ready, but they are also not able to make the best choices for the baby.
Esita will need a series of operations to repair her fistula, but the prognosis is good. But many women affected by fistula never receive medical attention and can be ostracized by their communities and even their own families.
These are the drastic situations of having a fistula. In my experience, women with fistula are particularly discriminated against because of the smell. She can't go to gatherings, she can't socialize with others, and for some, even their own husbands abandon them.
But not Esita's husband, Kenyasi. Himself only 19 years old, he has supported her throughout.
I feel sad about what happened, and I keep asking myself, why did this happen? Most of all, I feel guilty that I couldn't help her.
Kenyasi returns to the clinic where Esita's surgery has left her exhausted and weak. He'll keep making the trip until she's healed.
I am so glad that she's starting the treatment. I hope that when she's healed, we can have another baby. I want to return to work until she's better.
If I get better, I hope I can have children one day. I'd come to the clinic so that I could have assistance and deliver my baby in better conditions. That's what I hope for.
And she may get her wish. After successful operations, many women can resume a full life and bear children. For Ilse, her hope is to go back to school. She wants to make up for lost time, to have a career, and one day to be independent.
All I want is to go back to school. I don't want to return to my husband. I suffered a lot, and what I went through there was way too much. After school, I will be able to have profession and move on my own.